What did Cain see in Tristram's stones that broke him? The soul stone's resting place pulses, runes older than Diablo's shadow, asterisk legacy of the dead asterisk screams warnings. Three evils converge, mortal hands sealed fate in stone. This glow Tristram's knows the end stones that begin before broke the hymn first scream. The soul stones resting these place are the forgotten pulses stones of Tristram. Dead asterisk asterisk etched legacy of the dead asterisk warning screams three evils converge, but mortal hands sealed fate in stone. And this began before the glow first knows the scream. Hands Mephisto sealed fate in stone, lord of hatred, in his prison throne in Travancore. Diablo's first clash was not a battle. It was a coronation in reverse, a king's descent, not a demon's defeat. The dark exile's storm left ash on every field, a bitter frost in the air. The three evils arrived with the reek of sulfur, their shadows splitting the earth like cracks in a shattered mirror. Cain wrote by candlelight, ink bleeding through parchment, as he transcribed the stone's warnings asterisk, a dirge for a world that would not listen asterisk. The soul stone's prison was carved in silence, its chill seeping into bone, a hunger that gnawed at the sanity of those who guarded it. Scholars laughed in their scriptoriums, their quills scratching dismissals, blind to the sigils glowing faintly on the cathedral walls, pulsing like a heartbeat. Diablo's first breath in sanctuary was a scream that shook Tristram's spires. The stones remembered, they had always remembered. Mephisto's whispers curled through the undercroft, sweet as rot, while Baal's name was etched into the soil by hands that trembled with dread. Cain's final note, asterisk the convergence is no prophecy, it is an arrival, asterisk lay forgotten beneath a layer of dust and denial. The evils were not invaders. They were returnees, reclaiming what had been stolen, a reckoning written in blood and stone. The cathedral's foundations groaned, not from battle, but from memory. And in the dark the soul stone waited, its curse a promise, asterisk the end begins where the first stones were laid, asterisk. The stones beneath Tristram were not witnesses, they were oracles. Carved before Lazarus raised his hand, before Aidan bled for Diablo's curse, their script screamed a truth no mortal would accept. The sin war's end was etched into their cracks, Aidan's fate, Diablo's rise, the soulstone's birth, a warning, a plea. Cain traced these runes, his voice a shadow of what it could have been. Asterisk he will wear your face, asterisk he said, but Lazarus laughed. The archbishop's betrayal was not a betrayal, it was a mirror. He opened the gate, yes, but the gate had waited. Diablo's first step into Tristram was not conquest. It was homecoming, the soul stone, that cursed relic, was no Horadrim trap. Diablo drove it into Aidan's skull with his own claw, a key turning in a lock no scholar could see. The cathedral's stones wept as the prime evil claimed its vessel. Why did the Horadrim fight? Not to win, to delay. Every sword strike, every incantation was a debt paid to time. The war was never about Diablo, it was about who would remember and who would burn. What good are prophecies if the world refuses to listen? The stones knew, the stones still know, but Tristram's blood has long since washed the warnings away. The undercroft's corridors coil like strangled veins, their walls scored with glyphs older than Diablo's shadow. Each inscription bleeds a faint gold, a light that does not warm but warns. The dark wanderer's hand chose this place to bury what could not be burned, the soulstone, sealed in a sarcophagus of cursed mortar, but the stones spoke first. Their language was not of men, yet mortals carved their own doom between the arches, asterisk the flame that purifies will consume, asterisk the Horadrim chiseled answers, not questions. They did not listen. The glow intensified in the final years, a fever in the foundation, as if the cathedral itself recoiled from its role in the sin. When the sin came, it was not a battle but an eruption. Diablo's essence, trapped and writhing, awakened the oldest warnings. The walls did not weep, they screamed. And still the scholars dismissed the light as relic, not revelation. The stones knew the price of hubris, they knew the cost of fire. They knew the end would wear a hero's face. The first strike against Diablo was not a blow, it was an admission. The arena was never a beginning. It was an epilogue. Diablo's voice carves the air, asterisk not even death can save you, asterisk the stones of Tristram groan in reply. Aidan, sword raised, does not yet know his name will rot into a curse. The cathedral's undercroft holds older scars than his blade. Chiseled warnings, worn by time, whisper of a war already lost. The soulstone pulses, a heart trapped in amber. Its light grows as the prophecy bleeds forward. Diablo does not attack, he rehearses asterisk, every word a shroud, every step a dirge. The air thickens with what cannot be unsaid. Aiden's strike is a desperate comma in a sentence written centuries prior. The stones, ignored and crumbling, hold the author's name. Diablo's grin is a parenthesis paused but never ending. His triumph is not in the killing, it is in the waiting. The soulstone's glow intensifies, searing the walls where Horadrim hands once traced its seals. What power they bound they did not comprehend, the premonition deepens. Aiden's fate is etched in the dust beneath his boots. A vessel's path is no choice, it is a ditch dug in reverse. The cathedral trembles. Not from battle, from recognition. The end, already beginning, finds its echo in every cracked pillar. Diablo's lines are not boasts, they are obituaries. And the stone shave, already written the eulogy. The stones hum now, a low thrum in the marrow of the earth. Ozone stings the air, sharp as Cain's chisel when he carved the asterisk legacy of the dead asterisk. His hands traced the same warning serpents coiled around broken stars, a crown of thorns dissolving to ash. He thought them parables, they were blueprints, the cathedral's foundations groan. Dust blooms like powdered bone, swirling as the soulstone's glow dims, not a relic but an hourglass. The Sin War's gears have turned since before the Horadrim's first breath. Their triumphs were mere counterweights, delaying the collision of three titanic wills. A chandelier crashes, its iron shards quivering where Diablo's shadow once stood. The boss's true shape is not a form, but a asterisk hunger asterisk a void that unmakes. Cain's journal, left open in the rubble, shows his final ink stain, a circle with no exit. The temperature plummets. Frost etches the walls with skeletal hands. You feel it, don't you? The weight of a premonition that outlives the prophet. The Sin War wasn't lost, it was asterisk postponed asterisk. And the stones, they are not warning of an end. They are rehearsing the elegy. The stones in Tristram's undercroft still hum. Fissures of crimson light bleed through their cracks, casting shadows that move like serpents. The air reeks of burnt incense and melting wax offerings from a dead god. Lee's breath falters, her fingers curl around the edge of the altar, blood seeping into the grooves of ancient runes. Diablo's voice is a fever in her skull, sweet and serrated. She does not scream. Her death is a key turning in a lock he forged millennia ago. The cathedral trembles. A single raven takes flight from a stained glass wound, its wings slicing the stained light into ash. The black soulstones shatter is not a sound. It is a asterisk suddenness asterisk a void expanding in the ribs of the world. Malthael's scythe parts the sky, and the heavens weep fire. Sanctuary's forests curl to charcoal, the seabelt's tides boil into steam. What remains of the Horadrim's notes crumble to dust in trembling hands. No incantation could have prepared them. The stone's final secret was not its power. It was the asterisk mirror asterisk it held. Lee's name is etched into the reflectian of every choice soulstones ignored, buried beneath the weight of his ascension, untranslated. Lee's name is etched into the reflectian of every choice soulstones ignored core now, buried beneath the weight of his ascension. A scholar once traced her name in the undercroft's dust. He wept, thinking it a prayer. It was an epitaph. How could they have known the price was already written in the dust of Tristram? The world burns. The stones are silent, and in the embers, a new hunger stirs older than Diablo, younger than despair. The stones did not cry out. They whispered in stone, a dirge for a world unmade. Tristram's undercroft bore scars older than Diablo's hunger carvings of a reckoning no blade could halt. Tyrell's vote split the heavens, yet Sanctuary's reprieve was a wound dressed with ash. His mercy bought time, not salvation. The Sin War's collapse was etched in every crack, a prophecy of dust. Lilith's blood painted the cost. Nephilim, born in shadow, died in debt. Diablo's first breath in Tristram was no battle. It was a verdict sealed in stone. The cathedral's stones knew what the angels feared. Resistance was a language the dark did not speak. Each boss a psalm, each death a hymn. Mephisto's chains were not a cage, but a verse in the world's elegy. To kill them was to sign the next line. The soul stones held no power, only memory. The real sin was the hope they could be the end. Hope is the last light the dark extinguishes. The world burned not because they fought, but because they listened too late. The stones lessen, some prophecies are traps. And every benediction carries the weight of what must follow. The stones beneath Tristram groaned with memories not their own. Carved eons before Diablo's shadow fell, they held a truth the Horadrim could not unsee, the three evils coiled in a loop, not a line. Lee's death did not defeat a demon, it birthed a god. The black soul stone's shatter sealed no victorianly the next iteration. Cain's ink bleeds anew, asterisk the world shall burn yet none shall listen. Asterisk how many Tristrams have crumbled since, how many lays. The cathedral's dust whispers of cycles we name first encounters, though the stones knew them as chapters in a burning library. Every soul stone raised is a mirror cracked, hungry, familiar. The prime evil was never Diablo, it is the pattern, the silence after the shatter. The line between premonition and execution grows thin as the stone's warnings, etched in blood and ignored. Tristram's shadows stretch long, they always have. The stones beneath Tristram were not forged by the Horadrim. Their etchings, older than Diablo's shadow, spoke of a reckoning already in motion. Scholars who sealed him in the cathedral's heart never asked why the walls wept. They burned incense to the past while the future rotted beneath their feet. Irony, their final act of defiance was written in the dust of fallen stars. The three evils coiled closer, patient as a noose. The world burned once. It will burn again. Cain, in his final script, wrote the epitaph for all who refuse to look up. His words carved in the soul stone's marrow, asterisk the three evils shall converge, and the world shall burn yet none shall listen. Asterisk silence is the price of foresight. Tristram's undercroft stones bore the sin war's end before it began. The three evils' roles as destroyers were etched in warning. The shattered black soul stone's return is no accident. Its fragments dormant hunger to complete. Ignoring prophecy breeds ruin.